Trying to turn my camera around. I can't see where to turn my camera around. Give me a minute. Damn, what? I don't even know who you're talking to. Shut up.
You lied.
Now I'm going to catch up. Had to turn my camera around. Marching to the county building.
Testing 1 2. Can y'all hear me out there? Can y'all hear
Yes,
me out
sir.
there? You can hear me?
I hear you.
All right. No.
Right. Go in, make it look beautiful. No, who's doing the speaker line? Speaker line. Speaker line.
MAGA George, you sold your soul.
MAGA George, you sold your soul.
You're no nice guy, go on home.
You're no nice guy, go on home.
MAGA George, you sold your soul.
MAGA George, you sold your soul.
You're no nice guy, go on home.
You're no nice guy, go on home.
MAGA George, you sold your soul.
MAGA George, you sold your soul.
You're no nice guy, go on home. Latimer, we know you.
Latimer, we know you.
You imprison children too.
You imprison children too.
Latimer, we know you.
Latimer, we know you.
You imprison children too.
You imprison children too.
Latimer, we know you.
Latimer, we know you.
You imprison children too.
You imprison children too.
Genocide George. Genocide George.
Genocide George. Genocide George. Genocide George. Genocide George. Genocide George. Genocide George. Genocide George. Genocide George. Genocide George. Genocide George. Genocide George. Genocide George. Genocide George. Genocide George. Genocide George. Genocide George.
We'll start now with a short speech from Howard Horowitz. He's involved with Westchester Chapter.
All right, welcome everyone. Yes, we're a team. My name's Alicia. I'm the political director of JFRED, Jews for Racial and Economic Justice. I am not here to talk, only here to hype you up while Howard talks. And so,
Oh, because it's live.
all right.
Live.
So should we still talk into this?
Yes.
Okay, Howard. All right. Hello, my name's Alicia. I'm the political director at JFRED, Jews for Racial and Economic Justice. And I'm not going to talk. I'm just here to hype you up while Howard talks, but be ready for some chants interspersed throughout. So what are we starting with, Howard? Hey, hey, ho, ho. APAC and Latimer got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. APAC and Latimer have to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. APAC and Latimer got to go. Hey, ho, ho. APAC and Latimer got to go.
Can you hear me? Good evening. My name is, am I speaking this way?
Yes, because you're being live streamed.
Good evening. My name is Howard Horowitz. I live in New Rochelle.
Here, I'll turn this around.
I'm the board member of Westpac right here in White Plains and a member of JFRED, Jews for Racial and Economic Justice. I'm honored to speak to all of you gathered here today for the people's state of the county. Our people's state of the county is way more important and way more truthful than Latimer's false state of the county address later this evening. Now for the people, later for George. Now for the people, later for APAC. Now for racial and economic justice. Now for police reform. Now for affordable housing. Now for climate justice. Now for dumping APAC. Now, because all these issues are connected, these are the people's issues. I organize in the Jewish community for progressive politics. Why? Because I know where business as usual has gotten us. We are in a moment of extreme human suffering, unprecedented need, extreme inequality. Climate disasters are becoming commonplace. Immigrants coming to the U.S. seeking a better life are being treated shamefully, not just in Texas, but right here in New York. They are left homeless, and they join thousands of other homeless New Yorkers in a housing crisis perpetuated by our politicians tied to real estate. We pay lip service to racial justice while still allowing the police to assault Black and brown folks with impunity. Shame. Politicians like Latimer reward companies with contracts that profit from putting people in prison where conditions are subhuman and deadly. And all we have to do is connect to see that these same politicians running on APAC money are complicit in unspeakable atrocities in Gaza right now. Yes, George, in your state of the county, you're running on a platform and money responsible for over 30,000 dead and hundreds of thousands starving in a war funded by U.S. tax dollars and supported by U.S. politicians like you. We say, hey, hey, ho, ho. AIPAC and Latimer have to go. Hey, hey. Ho, ho. AIPAC and Latimer have to go.
Hey, hey. Ho, ho.
AIPAC and Latimer have to go.
Hey, hey. Ho, ho. AIPAC and Latimer have to go.
Inequality, inhumanity, racism, death, and destruction are the logical results of business as usual in the U.S., where corporate interests control our politics. George Latimer embodies that business as usual here in Westchester. As county executive, Latimer ignored information about inhumane conditions in the county jail. And after they donated money to his campaign, he awarded a $40 million contract to the same jail contractors responsible for those inhuman conditions. Now George Latimer is running for Congress on a campaign initiated and funded by AIPAC, whose single issue is money and weapons for Israel. And they use their money, and they're using George Latimer to unseat progressive Black and brown and Jewish representatives of the people. This is more business as usual, and we say no. We say, hey, hey, ho, ho. AIPAC and Latimer have to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. AIPAC and Latimer have to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. AIPAC and Latimer have to go.
Hey, hey. Ho, ho. AIPAC and Latimer have to go. Hey, hey.
George Latimer is about to give his State of the County address tonight. I, for one, among the many people here, had a confirmed seat to hear him. Last night at 6 p.m., I was told I was canceled and would not be allowed in. Shame on you, George Latimer. I am here instead to say that the state of our county is poor. The state of the county is good for the rich and bad for everyday people. Ever since Latimer linked arms with AIPAC, the state of the county is good for AIPAC, good for the war machine, and complicit in genocide. George Latimer, the state of the county is poor, and your campaign is racist, unjust, and divisive. Suspend your campaign now. Ceasefire now. We say, ceasefire now. Ceasefire now. Ceasefire now. Ceasefire now. Ceasefire now.
Ceasefire now. Ceasefire now. Ceasefire now. Ceasefire now.
All right, give it up for Howard. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. How's everybody doing? We're standing out here to call out Genocide George for being blind to the atrocities that are going on in Palestine. First, I want to thank the organizers for this. Let's give the organizers a round of applause. Yes. And to my Muslim brothers and sisters, I would like to greet you and Assalamu alaikum and Ramadan Mubarak, because this is the holy month of Ramadan. As I stand here in solidarity with everyone who is here today, some of us are here for better housing, police accountability, equitable justice, food insecurity, homelessness, and of course, the humanitarian need for a ceasefire in Palestine and the recognition of the Palestinian people's humanity. As a Black man who has lived in Westchester for most of my life and is the descendant of slaves, I have experienced the effects of systematic racism firsthand. My ancestors endured the horrors of slavery, the injustices of Jim Crow, and the dehumanizing label of being considered 1/5 of a human being by the Constitution. Throughout my life, I had these experiences. I have developed a keen ability to recognize the nature of white supremacy and oppression. As a believer in Jesus Christ, who was Palestinian, by the way, I condemn all terrorism in all forms. But however, We must recognize when enough is enough and has the courage to say stop. In the protection of innocent lives, we must demand that Westchester County Executive, the Westchester County legislators stand firmly on the tenets of faith and speak out against this bloodshed by passing a resolution for the ceasefire in Palestine. It's hypocritical for the county exec to call Muslims and humanitarians undemocratic because they use their vote in Minnesota to peacefully protest, using the democratic process to voice their outrage over the continuous killings in Palestine. And he claimed that they are not supporting Genocide Joe. However, he remains silent on Israel's Netanyahu's, who has ignored President Biden's call for a ceasefire. He has dismissed the recent peace deal as delusional, and he has brushed aside the calls to stop the ground troops in Palestine. I stand here with others demanding County Exec George Lattimore, Deputy County Exec King Jenkins, the Westchester County legislators to recognize these atrocities. It's deeply troubling that more than 30,000 people have been killed in this crisis, with a staggering 70% victims being men, women, and children. Innocent lives are being lost, and people attempt to access basic necessities like food and supplies. What's even more alarming, the lack of response of our county elected officials all across Westchester. Their silence is deafening. If George Lattimore, County Exec George Lattimore, continues to make insensitive, divisive political statements to appeal to his right-wing zealot base, then he should resign from his position immediately. This type of rhetoric is unacceptable. This is not the way we represent Westchester County government.
That's right.
Which I have faithfully worked for the county for 33 years. Furthermore, Lattimore's words show a profound lack of respect for the Arab and Muslim county employees who work diligently to serve the communities. His behavior not only is offensive, but undermines the principles of inclusivity and equality that should be upheld by our elected officials. As a leader, he has the responsibility to represent all constituents, regardless of their race, religion, or political affiliation. Failure to do so is a failure of his duties and a betrayal of public trust. I want to express my heartfelt gratitude to the organizers who have worked tirelessly to make this possible. As we stand here united in our call for justice for Palestine, we do like Martin Luther King, injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. We cannot turn a blind eye to the suffering of the Palestinian people. The silence of our elected officials in the face of this devastating loss of innocent life is unacceptable. We, the people, have the power to demand change, and it's our moral obligation to do so. We must hold our leaders accountable and insist that they take action to address this urgent issue. If they don't, we will be here every county legislative meeting until they pass a resolution for a ceasefire in Palestine. Thank you. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum.
Hadil, would you like to speak for Westchester for Palestine? Welcome to Hadil. She's emerged since October 7th, and she's been doing amazing work in Yonkers and all over Westchester County. Thank you, Hadil, for your work.
Assalamu alaikum, peace be upon you all. This is Hadil, and I'm from Westchester for Palestine. We started on November, feeling the need to move up, to rise up for Palestine. Palestinian, Arab, Muslim, Americans, Latinos, we all struggle. And the root problem of our struggle is common. And now we became more clear. With the crisis that's happening in Gaza, we start being able to connect the dots and see how is the root problem for all of our struggle is one thing. It's capitalism, it's controlling over our life, over our medical system, over our education. They have control over every single thing in our life. They made every single part of our life political. This is not how it should be, but they made it this way. And we grow up, my generation grow up thinking that this is the only way this life can be. Until we realize, no, humans have more power than just settling in to be struggling, working more than 8 hours every single day, not having time for self-care, not having time to spend with their family, seeing a genocide going on under the watch of everybody, streamed online, and all of the power, all of the money that exists in this world that we live in 2024, and nobody's able to stop it. Not only not unable to stop it, they're not just not able to stop it, they are supporting it. They are funding it. They are praising it. What a shame. How come we arrived into a point of human life that we lost our humanity? Not us. I know it's not us. Certain government-controlled people lost their humanity. They don't even see. They don't even care. But guess what? We are awake. Gaza have awakened us. A couple of months ago, before everything happened in Gaza, we knew there's something wrong, but maybe we didn't really realize what it was. But now we know. And now we know that we can reclaim our power. Here being today, next week, the week after, not letting them live their life as usual. No business as usual. We're going to be standing in the front of your offices, in the first lane of your speeches, disrupting your life, putting all live streams, putting all the media outlets that we don't recognize you as a representative of us. Palestinian people need us. And this is our obligation.
And we need them.
And we need them because they are the strongest people that are existing now. They have sacrificed their life for a land because of justice. And we have a lot to learn from them. But they also need us. Because whether we chose it or not, American people are complicit directly. We did not consent to it. But we recognize how we can separate ourselves from supporting everything that's happening. So, what we do now should continue. Obligation until liberation. This is obligation until liberation. 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 Free Palestine! Free! Free Palestine!
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 Thank you all. Thank you so much, Nadia. Thank you. I'd like, what? Is that a drone? Surveillance drone in the sky.
without us having a clear policy on how these drones are supposed to be used by law enforcement, and without having civilian oversight approve of the use of these new technologies. That's the vision we have. Speaking about police oversight, Leah, representing the Westchester Coalition for Police Reform.
Salam alaikum. Okay. George Latimer has failed on police reform in Westchester.
Zero.
I'm here as a representative of the Westchester Coalition for Police Reform. This coalition has been tracking and advocating for police reform since 2011, when the police shot Kenneth Chamberlain Sr. In the wake of the murder of George Floyd in 2020, then Governor Cuomo mandated that all New York municipalities with police departments create and implement police reform plans with community input to, quote, foster trust, fairness, and legitimacy, and to address any racial bias and disproportionate policing of communities of color, unquote. That was Cuomo. Thousands of New York citizens, government employees, and lawyers have dedicated thousands of hours of unpaid work to creating these police reform plans. The plans call for transparency, accountability, an end to racist policing, and reinvestment of policing funds into the communities they serve. In 2022, George Latimer.
Murderers? You're a shotgun. You're a shotgun. You're a shotgun.
You know, if you were Jewish, you're a shonder.
Go away.
Never again means for everybody. Never again means everybody. Never again means everybody. Never again means everybody.
Never again means everybody. Never again means everybody.
Never again means everybody. Never again means everybody. Never again means everybody. Never again means everybody. Never again means everybody. Never again means everybody.
Never again means everybody. Never again means everybody.
Never again means everybody. Never again means everybody. Never again means everybody. Never again means everybody. Never again means everybody. Never again means everybody. Never again means everybody. Never again means everybody. Never again means everybody. Never again means everybody. Never again means everybody. Never again means everybody. Never again means everybody.
Never again means everybody. Never again means everybody. Never again means everybody. Never again means everybody. Come on by, buddy.
Bye-bye. In 2022, George Latimer. In 2022, George Latimer grandstanded and pat himself on the back for the police reform plan for the Westchester County Police Department. He said the reform plan was almost fully implemented. That was a lie. Yes, he says the cops are taking more training classes. Yes, he got them wearing body cams, which we usually have to litigate to view. Yes, he's implemented Project Alliance, but let's talk about Project Alliance for a minute. Project Alliance is a program that's supposed to divert 911 mental health emergencies to a mobile crisis response team of mental health professionals. Yet police continue to respond to these calls, and people of color continue to be killed or injured. In New Rochelle last summer, sadly, it was Jarrell Garris. Can we say his name? Thank you. Jarrell Garris got shot and killed by police for eating grapes and a banana in a store.
Shame!
This winter in White Plains, a 13-year-old girl during a mental health episode dialed 911 and had her foot broken and handcuffed by the responding officers. Shame. A little girl. And
assault.
And what about the Office of Police Accountability, George? The Office of Police Accountability was a promise of a countywide independent civilian complaint review board that would have the power to investigate allegations of police misconduct, report to the public, and recommend discipline. But that didn't happen. As far as I can tell, George Latimer has not implemented any of the police reform recommendations that relate to accountability of police officers. I don't think residents will feel safer or be safer without knowing that the police are being held accountable for their actions. But now police reform seems to be taking a back seat to Latimer's congressional campaign. George accepts campaign donations from the prison industrial complex, who supply our jails and prisons with rotten food, rotten health care, and price gouging of convicted people. The largest donor to George's campaign is AIPAC, a political action committee spending over $100 million this year to unseat progressive Congress members. Who is Latimer beholden to? I'd say he's beholden to police, prisons, and the apartheid of Palestinian people.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Leah. Thank you. Now we'll hear from Sandy Burnaby, the leader of the Anti-Racist Alliance.
Hey, hey, ho, ho, Latimer's there, we've got to go. Oh my God, some people say he's a good guy, right? We like him because he's a good guy. What kind of a good guy would fail us? He's totally failed us. We worked for his campaign. We were at the train stations. We were making phone calls, right? We were handing out, getting petition signs. We worked for him. Why? He promised us something. He said that he had the courage. He had the courage to address things in Westchester that were embedded in the root. Betty, your example of his failure. You get out of the hospital, you have 2 eggs and toast in the morning, salad for lunch, salad for dinner. This is a failure of a person who said he had the courage to do root cause, but he didn't. And we are discouraged and disgusted. A good guy would have used his authority to fix problems for members of the community who are bottom stuck. Instead, he really pleased most white middle-class people or people who didn't need any help. We're the ones who say, oh, he's a good guy, he's a good guy. We need nothing from this guy.
That's right.
But the people who are bottom stuck, when we come to speak to him, you know what we heard for years? Oh, that's absolutely. You should go talk to this person. We were placated. And during this committee, we were placated. And you need to do this and you need to do that. And fools that we were, we did it. You know something? We came in and we gave him the state of Black Westchester children. And on his way out, that data is the same.
That's right.
The state of Black children in Westchester and the state of white children in Westchester are very, very different. Very different. He said, we're going to do this. We said to him, please, you have an opportunity to bring a racial equity lens to county government, like Seattle is doing, like this is doing, like that is. Yeah, sure. George, join the Government Alliance on Race and Equity. Sure, we're going to do it. Years and years. Sure, we're going to do it. Sure, we're going to do it. Never.
We were bamboozled.
We were bamboozled. We were played. And the way we're played is, yeah, we're going to do it. Go talk to Sandy. Go talk to Nava. Go talk here. And meanwhile, we're exhausted. We take time off from work. We go and talk. We write letters. We do everything. Documentation. Played. He has failed us. The Youth Detention Center. Can you imagine the census for the Youth Detention Center, which we call a jail for black kids, which he says, don't you dare say that. If you walk into the cottage, it's a jail for black kids.
It's a jail.
It's a jail. There's no question about it. The jail for kids of color. They say that the census is, 56 BIPOC kids. You take a picture, black is black.
That's right.
Anyway, this youth detention, the data is 20 kids a month, and it's static at that. That includes 5 counties. They're building an 84-bed new facility.
Shame.
They're building an 84-bed new facility while all counties, the whole nation, is diminishing their detention for youth.
Shame. Shame. Shame.
And one more thing about police reform.
Never means never for everybody. Latimer betrayer. Latimer betrayer. Latimer betrayer.
Please! Please! Please!
Don't engage. Don't engage.
Don't touch me, stay back.
Wait, let me stand in front of him. You're too big.
Go away!
Go away.
Go away! Go away! Go away! Go away! Go away! Go away!
Let's just ignore him. Let's ignore him, okay? We gotta go on. Let's ignore him. Wait, I want to say one thing about police reform. When he came, we had high hopes. And he gave us... Just leave. Let him do what the hell he wants.
APAC is a foreign entity. APAC is a foreign entity. APAC is a foreign entity. Latimer is their lapdog. APAC is a foreign entity. APAC is a foreign entity. APAC is a foreign entity. Latimer is their lapdog. Get big money out of politics. Get big money out of politics. Get big money out of politics. Retire George Latimer. Get big money out of politics. Get big money out of politics. Get big money out of politics. George Latimer.
No, this is what he wants you to do. Okay, I'm going to keep going, okay? Just ignore him. What I want to say is that when he first came in, he gave us...
Okay, finish, please finish.
Okay, George Latimer met with us for an hour every other month to talk about police reform, and he worked us. He said, give us resumes of good people for commissioner. Give us data about training programs. Give us this, give us that. And we did, and he ignored us, and he redirected us, and he disrespected Kenneth Chamberlain, and he disrespected Damon Jones, and he disrespected the black men in the room by playing us. So finally, we stopped going, because what he does is he diverts and he ignores. He diverts and he ignores, and that's the strategy of being played. And the thing I want to say to stop is that...
I feel very unsafe.
Okay, let me.
I
want to talk to him. Hi there, everybody.
Hello, everybody. Recognize when you're being pulled like a puppet. Now, this gentleman here, I don't know how much of a gentleman he is, but he's doing it good because I want everybody to hear what we have to say. Now, I went to Palestine. I went as a United Methodist. I'm still a United Methodist. Fact-finding. I spoke at the United Nations for NGOs. Okay? So now I run the gambit. I know what a kangaroo court is in Israel. I was there and watched them demolish a house that was, it wasn't a house, it was really a total community for one family. And we need to stop that completely. But what I want to say is everybody that's been up here, I've been on a committee that covers that topic. All right, can everybody hear me? All right, now, for accountability and oversight in the town of Greenberg. Now, Paul Finer stated that he wanted to see the first black police chief in Greenberg. Well, he got one. And when you want to know what the first act that police officer, the chief did, he went out and got a K-9 unit with 2 officers transferred from Mount Vernon, the greatest police department in Westchester, to harass me. I know it was done specifically to get on my nerves. These things are things that Latimer should have said we don't really need or want a K-9 unit in this area. Do you know how much money it costs to sustain a K-9 unit? Somebody's salary here, okay? Now, I am highly upset because we're not talking about the main issue. The main issue is democracy. That's what's on trial, and that's what's losing, democracy. Now, I'm from the 60s. I'm right here, the mine is Aretha West. Y'all know him as Malcolm X. I know him as El Shabaab, okay? Now, bottom line, I went to Virginia State and Historic Black College. When I got there, all of the girls in the dormitory knew how to shoot a rifle. Everybody in the South can shoot a rifle. So I started the Rifle Club for women. Okay? But then in the 60s, I had to make a decision. Am I going to be basically... I'm not. I'll keep going. So what happened is, we need to learn, as I did. I wanted to go through, I grew up in Greenberg, and totally integrated. And I recognize, I got a whole bunch of white friends, and they're nothing like this. What they're doing, Latimer, and I'm upset with the majority of Jewish people that I know that don't speak up, but guess what? They're afraid. Fear can do a lot to immobilize somebody. But it's great for the business also. Because then you say, well, I want to see to it that everybody gets an opportunity to recognize I am an individual. I don't have to go along with you because you have the money. The APOC.
We had a request for chanting to drown out this gentleman.
Oh, yes, we're going to chant to drown him out. I'm going to go over there and talk to him. Here we go.
You have someone who wants to speak to you. Where's the gentleman? Come on, Miss Reams. Come on now. She wants to speak to that gentleman. Let's have one song in China. Come on.
Ain't gonna let nobody turn me around, turn me around, turn me around. Ain't gonna let nobody turn me around. Keep on a walking, keep on a talking, marching to that freedom land. APAC, ain't gonna let no APAC turn me around, turn me around, turn me around. Ain't gonna let no APAC turn me around. Keep on a walking, keep on a talking, marching to that freedom land. Big money ain't gonna let big money turn me around, turn me around, turn me around. Ain't gonna let big money turn me around. Keep on a walking, keep on a talking, marching to that freedom. The privileged ain't gonna let the privileged turn me around, turn me around, turn me around. Ain't gonna let the privileged turn me around. Keep on a walking, keep on a talking, marching to that freedom. Propaganda ain't gonna let propaganda turn me around, turn me around, turn me around. Ain't gonna let propaganda turn me around. Keep on a walking, keep on a talking, marching to that freedom land. Ain't gonna let nobody, ain't gonna let nobody turn me around, turn me around, turn me around. Ain't gonna let nobody turn me around. Keep on a walking, keep on a talking, marching to that freedom land. All we are saying
Whisper say.
All right, now, you need to know that every last person has something to say. Democracy has to work. But see, when you're like a person, just essentially going in one direction, they can't do it.
I just want to
Basically, you can state that we're here, the group is as large as it should be, but people don't realize I have. So as long as I have, everything's all right. But tomorrow you won't have.
thank you, Miss Weems. Let's give it up for the Peace Marshals. Woo! We keep ourselves safe. We keep us safe. Thank you, Peace Marshals. Woo! You were tested this evening and you did really well, and we thank you all for that. And we thank you for stepping up and serving as Peace Marshals. Thank you so much. Is there anyone here from DSA, Democratic Socialists of America? You are also co-sponsors. Anyone want to speak from DSA? No? Any other sponsoring organization has a representative that we've missed? No? Okay, in that case, let's have more song.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm a little
All
unprepared.
we are saying is give peace a chance.
We were starting with that.
All we are saying is give peace a chance. All we are saying is give peace a chance. All we are saying is give peace a chance. All we are saying is give peace a chance. We shall not be moved. We shall not be moved like a tree planted by the water. We shall not be moved. We fight for peace and justice. We fight for peace and justice. We shall not be moved. We fight for peace and justice. We shall not be moved like a tree planted by the water. We shall not be moved. The people are united and we shall not be moved. The people are united, we shall not be moved like a tree planted by the water. We shall not be moved. United, we're unstoppable. We shall not be moved. United, we're unstoppable. We shall not be moved like a tree planted by the water. We shall not be moved. A better world is possible. A better world is possible. We shall not be moved. A better world is possible. We shall not be moved like a tree planted by the water. We shall not be moved. What do you want to put in this song? Come.
Freedom for Palestine.
Freedom for Palestine. We shall not be moved. Freedom for Palestine. We shall not be moved like a tree planted by the water. We shall not be moved.
Housing for everyone.
Housing for everyone. We shall not be moved. Housing for everyone. We shall not be moved like a tree planted by the water. We shall not be moved. Stop bombing Gaza. We shall not be moved. Stop bombing Gaza. We shall not be moved like a tree planted by the water. We shall not be moved.
Ceasefire now, we shall not be moved. Ceasefire now, we shall not be moved like a tree planted by the water. We shall not be. Our kids deserve a Green New Deal. Our kids deserve a Green New Deal. We shall not be moved. Our kids deserve a Green New Deal. We shall not be moved like a tree planted by the water. We shall not be moved. We shall not be moved. We shall not be moved like a tree planted by the water. We shall not be moved. So, I'm not supposed to talk, but I gotta say this. Let's do a little Easter egg hunt. I want everyone here to look high and low and behind them, in front of them, and then go on the internet to LatimerForNewYork.com and try and find his policies. Right? And then I want you to go to Latimer for New York and try and find his press releases. Just give it a try. We don't know what he stands for. Right. So I wasn't supposed to talk, but I had to say that.
Thank you. So we have Julie Weiner who wants to talk about police training in Israel, but also there was a request for the Palestinian music that we played in front of the LaFell School. It's a dancing debke, folkloric. So we can do that after Julie speaks briefly.
Super short. Yeah, I just wanted to say one thing. It was a bit of a shock when I saw the tweet from Mayor Spano in Yonkers on October 8th, reassuring us that the Yonkers police officer who was training in Israel was safe that day. And aren't you glad? And he also mentioned that Westchester County had 6 other police officers training in Israel that day. Which means that George Latimer is responsible not only for failing to set up police reform, but for establishing and training a police force in Yonkers steeped in racism, steeped in the notion that there's a class of human beings anywhere on this planet with no rights that the police are bound to respect.
Deadly exchange! Deadly exchange!
Deadly exchange! Deadly exchange. So we need to oppose the deadly exchange. We need to get police officers out of Palestine and stop training them to commit genocide.
That's right.
So the other point about American law enforcement going to Israel, they're learning how to militarize the local police departments, and that's not what people want. We want community. We don't want a militarization of policing. There were 6 members of Westchester law enforcement in Israel on October 7th. They were in southern Israel, close to the Gaza border. And the district attorney, Mimi Roca, told us they were learning about anti-Semitism in Israel. You don't need to go to Israel to learn about anti-Semitism. And there's also data to support that those departments, including the Atlanta Police Department, when they've entered into this deadly exchange and do training in Israel, there end up being higher rates of civilian deaths in police encounters. So the data is supporting what we're saying. End the deadly exchange. End the deadly exchange. End the deadly exchange. End the deadly exchange. End the deadly exchange.
End the deadly exchange.
The deadly exchange.
The deadly exchange.
The deadly exchange.
And the deadly exchange.
Okay, so I think we'll have some Palestinian culture. You know how? Oh, I have to tell one more story before we have this music. It's a very painful story for me to share with you. But 1 year ago, there was a women's group, a Black women's group in Greenberg that wanted to honor me for an award called Women Who Dare to Be Different. And I got an email from Latimer's office saying that they wanted to do this proclamation. And in this proclamation, I gave them the description of Westpac, that we're working. Part of what Westpac does is we work for equality, dignity, and justice for all the people in Israel and Palestine. I got a call back from his office saying, well, you're not being honored for Westpac. Tell us other things about you. They didn't want to put that in the proclamation. Then I sent another, I said, oh, you want this to be about me personally? So I sent them information about myself as a Palestinian American in a loving family, Well, guess what? When I got the proclamation, he erased my Palestinian identity. I felt so hurt. I wanted to tear up that darn thing. I was so angry. He has a problem saying the word Palestine and Palestinian.
Well, he better get used to it, Nada.
So really, I mean, this is problematic in so many ways. People are trying, systems and institutions are trying to erase us. And we have a gentleman up there on the 8th floor who's trying to do the same thing. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention, that this was really painful. I didn't tear up the proclamation because I thought, you know what, at some point, maybe I need to show what I submitted versus what his office actually produced. It was shameful.
Stop erasing Palestine.
Stop erasing. Stop erasing.
Erasing is genocide. Did not exist.
Exactly. He has trouble saying the word Palestine and Palestinian, and we're all here, George, to help you get comfortable, because Palestinians are not going anywhere. We're here to stay.
My honor. So, since we're all still gathered, you all might like to know that we're organizing in New Rochelle, post the flag flying in Chappaqua, the Israeli flag flying in New Rochelle, which was taken down in exchange for a Pan-Africa flag. That was because of our action in New Rochelle. But we have other developments we're working on now. Number one, we've learned that the Israeli consulate has book collection for the New Rochelle Public Library about Israel culture, technology, and we don't know the source of that yet, but it was in a paper. It was organized where we're going to be proposing a similar book collection on Palestine. We'll use that exhibit as leverage to put Palestine in our culture. Second, and at the same time, scheduled for next Thursday, March 21st, was a book talk by co-authors of a book. I'm sorry. Voices of the People's History of the United States, a book who's based on the work of Howard Zinn. It was publicized in New Rochelle. It was in the paper. It was scheduled. As of 2 days ago, it was canceled because the authors have expressed solidarity with Palestine. We are working on an action. We're working on an alternative event. We're working on getting it reinstated with the library board. And if not, we'll be holding an alternative event close to the library. Just wanted you all to know those developments.
Thank you, Howard. And also a quick announcement about the Yonkers ceasefire resolution. Hadil, would you like to give an update about the Yonkers ceasefire resolution? Hadil and others have been leading an effort, and they really need our support.
Hello again. So ceasefire in Yonkers. Yonkers is the fourth biggest city in New York. So we were like, okay, and we thought we were gonna have a chance in Yonkers to pass the ceasefire resolution. And this is for two reasons. First, the fourth biggest city, to increase the pressure on Biden, but also to test the council members' loyalty and support for Yonkers people. We really now in time where we're not sure who are our allies and who are our enemies at the end of the day. This is how time is testing people around us. So we did submit the resolution in February 7th officially. We sent the email, we sent a hard copy. It is adapted from the Newburgh resolution. So Newburgh resolution was passed. So this is like the version that it's watered down, right? All the fixing, all the editing happened to that resolution. We did not hear anything directly from the council, but we're trying to meet with them. Till now, we're not successful in meeting except with one. We're not sure what's their stand. We cannot speak on the meetings because according to Yonkers City Hall protocol or community meeting protocol, you cannot speak on anything other than what's on the agenda. To get it up to the agenda, you need to get four of the council members vote in order for you to be able to speak in a community meeting for 3 minutes.
That's not democratic.
This, I mean, we, like 3 minutes, this is the, like, when do you want us to discuss, right? You want us to discuss the resolution? Do you want us to edit it? When would you like to do that? If you don't want to meet with us, no speeches during the community meeting. So that's a hassle that we've been struggling with. Last week, there's a peace resolution was suggested by the council president without any input, without letting us know. So now we're kind of fighting for the ceasefire resolution to come back to the table instead of the peace resolution, because the peace resolution, useless. There's no a practical solution. There's no word for the ceasefire. So it's kind of just, here you go, shut up, let's move on. So we need everybody's support, of course. And this is why we're doing weekly vigil in Yonkers in front of the City Hall, a building in Nepperhan, 1 Nepperhan Avenue at 5:30 to 6:30. So it's 1 hour. And after that, we hop up to their meeting, trying to talk to them, trying to see if there's any updates. We did a silent protest the other day, hoping to get their attention. So yeah, hope to see you all there in the vigil. You can attend the meeting even if you're not Yonkers resident for support with your kafia, just to know that people who want a ceasefire are there and we're here to stay. And, you know, we're just gonna, our presence is gonna bother you, we're gonna be there forever. So thank you.
Thank you. So now we will play a famous Palestinian Devke song. Rada and Danya, would you like to you all do Devke together? Come. So we'll sing and dance. People can join us.
Hello, everyone. My name is Tanya Sova. I am from a resident of Yonkers, and I've been part of Westchester for Palestine now. For the past, month, 2 now, we've been going to meetings. We've been standing outside. We've been sending emails. We've been on the streets talking to people because the city council members don't listen to us, right? Of course, they're not going to listen to us. But they suggested this peace resolution, like Adil says, which does not include the word ceasefire in it. Nowhere does it say ceasefire. It says peace resolution only, which shame on them, shame on Yonkers. Shame on Yonkers. Shame on Yonkers. Shame on Yonkers. So we really need your support. We really need more people to show up and support us because we are there every Tuesday at 5:30 p.m. Every Tuesday we show up, we have a visual, right? We set up our pictures, we set up our posters, we bring flowers, but we need people to show up with us. We need support. So I'm here. If you can't come, tell a friend, tell another friend, share it, but please, 40 South Broadway every Tuesday at 5:30 p.m. Please show up for us. Palestine needs us.
Thank you. Thank you, We United, for your support and solidarity. We appreciate you. Thank you. All right, here we go. Here we go. Rada, Danya.
And you go back and you reread it, and you still don't know what you just read, right? And that's a big problem.
أهلي أنا فديهم، أنا دمي فلسطيني فلسطيني فلسطيني، أنا دمي فلسطيني. والله أنا دمي فلسطيني فلسطيني فلسطيني، أنا أرض تلاقيني، أنا أهلي أنا فديهم، أنا دمي فلسطيني فلسطيني فلسطيني، أنا دمي فلسطيني. والله أنا دمي فلسطيني فلسطيني فلسطيني، أنا دمي فلسطيني. وبالك يا ديرتنا بعزتنا وعروبتنا، أرض القدس لنا صوت بيناديني، أنا دمي فلسطيني. أنا دمي فلسطيني فلسطيني فلسطيني، أنا دمي فلسطيني. يا يما بشيري بالعز، دارك يا العلا تنهز، عليها الروح ما تنعس ولا دمي وشراييني، أنا دمي فلسطيني. أنا دمي فلسطيني فلسطيني فلسطيني، أنا دمي فلسطيني. فلسطين وابن أحرار، شبيلك السما ومقوار، على عهد الوفا يا الله وعمره ما انحنى شبيلي، أنا دمي فلسطيني. أنا دمي فلسطيني فلسطيني فلسطيني، أنا دمي فلسطيني. على عهدي على ديني، على أرض تلاقيني، أنا لأهلي أنا فديهم، أنا دمي فلسطيني فلسطيني فلسطيني، أنا دمي فلسطيني.
The all-new GoDaddy Aero helps you get your business online in minutes with the power of AI. With
Nada is actually Palestinian. Danya is Palestinian. Hadil is Palestinian. In the thousands, in the millions, we are all Palestinians. In the thousands, in the millions, we are all Palestinians. In the thousands, in the millions, we are all Palestinians.
That's a great idea, Howard.
Oh no!
If anyone, I have muffins and such. If anyone wants to eat, I have muffins and bye.
Mwah. Take care. Thank you.
Returning that. You're welcome.
This is
If anyone wants to eat anything.